This podcast is hosted by licensed therapists, but it is not a substitute for therapy. The content is for informational and educational purposes only and does not constitute professional advice or a therapeutic relationship. If you are in need of mental health support, we encourage you to consult a licensed mental health provider in your area. I'm Dr. Marissa Eusebio.
I'm Dr. Anna Barus.
We are licensed psychologists and we're moms, but we are not your mother's therapist.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Not Your Mother's Therapist.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Today we're talking about relationships. I think the reason why we wanted to talk about relationships is because it's like the one thing that comes up the most in our sessions. Like literally, I feel like a huge chunk of what we do is talk about usually that's what brings people in.
Yes.
It's like I'm struggling with my partner, I'm struggling with my family,
Or my kids.
or my kids after becoming a mom or dad. And so we end up talking about that a lot.
And I also want to say a big piece of this is your relationship with yourself.
Oh, say more.
How you think about yourself, how you view yourself, who you are as you change throughout life, and accepting who you are in all of those different phases of your life as you progress, whether it be into parenthood or deciding not to be a parent or your
Yeah.
career, right? These are all different aspects of ourselves. And that relationship that we have with ourselves, I think, is so important and not talked about very
Yeah.
often.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. I want to talk more about that too. Are you talking about the transition, like into parenthood? Yeah.
Yeah, because we change so much.
Yeah, we do. And then you're changing in the context of a relationship. So your relationship kind of has to adapt to the new version of you or the new version of yourselves in some way. And that's a hard transition, I
Yeah.
think, for a lot of people.
And so hard that this is why a lot of people come into therapy for it.
Yeah.
So much so that we actually have a therapy called interpersonal therapy for
Yeah.
reproductive mental health.
Right.
And
it's
it
the
is-
gold standard.
It is the gold standard. This is how we treat
Yeah.
any kind of peripartum issues, postpartum issues, or concerns. This is the particular kind of therapy that we use, and it is all about relationships.
All about it. That's how important it is. Because it can really make or break your mood after the kids come along, and the quality of your families as well.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. What is like the biggest thing that you think people come for in terms of relationships? I have an idea, but I want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, I mean, I think what they're saying is usually their relationship with their spouse or some other close family member.
Yeah.
But again, I go back to I think people don't always realize how much they're struggling with their relationship with themselves and how that might actually be leading them more than they might realize.
Yeah. What are some examples when it comes to that?
Like losing yourself.
Mm.
And I'm particularly thinking about losing yourself in the midst of postpartum and early years when you have your kids.
Yeah.
Like you have no more time for your hobbies. You have
Yeah.
no more time for yourself. Your career might be on the back burner. And even
Yeah.
if you want those things, even if that is part of your value system and you're okay with it, adjusting to that transition is so challenging.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think probably the first thing that my patients talk about or even bring up is like, but I don't have time for any of those things
Right.
anymore because of the baby. And the baby requires a lot of my attention.
And then it doesn't stop there,
And
right?
it doesn't stop.
Because
Yeah.
I don't have time because the baby, and then my toddler's in this, and my
Oh, and now we had a
elementary-
second one.
right, and the second baby, and then my elementary school age kids is
Yeah.
in sports, and it just is this snowball effect. And then before you know it, who you are is a little lost.
Yeah. Yeah. And what you enjoy too. This comes up a lot. I think I often have this like conversation with moms in particular about like at what point do we have the children in our lives join our lives? Like at what point do we switch over and they start to become part of our lives versus us like just kind of tailoring to them every decision and every catering to them and everything that we do, because it's a slippery slope. Like once you stop like trying to include them in your life, then it just all becomes about them all the time, and it's a slippery slope, and then years go by,
Mhm.
and it's still all about them.
Mhm.
So there's usually some conversation about like, do you like doing some of the things that you're currently doing? Oh, okay, you don't. What do you like doing? Oh, okay. So you want to do more of that? And they're like, yeah, I would love to, but
And that's if they have an answer. A
right.
lot of times it's like,
Yeah.
nothing,
Yeah.
or spending time with my kids, which is
Right.
great,
Which is great.
amazing, don't
Mhm.
wanna take away from that,
Mhm.
but you also need something for you.
Yeah. There's always a but in there too about like I would never be able to bring my child to go do this or go do that, or I know I've talked about this before, I would never be able to work out with my child.
Mhm.
Um and then I like to challenge that never.
Mhm.
And then we usually talk about like, well, why? What gets in the way? Oh, well, my kids are crazy and they would be doing this and they would be yelling and they would be and then I'd say something like, "Well, how long do you think it's going to take before they stop doing that and they start doing something else?" And or maybe you have to teach them
Mhm.
like how to behave. I'm still in the process of trying to teach my kids how to behave at a restaurant. I'm like, this
Oh,
is what we
yeah.
do. We're not running. We're not standing on the chairs. We're not doing this. So
Feels
we
like a
talk about
lifelong
that.
process until
Yeah,
I have an adult at least,
yeah,
an adult
seriously.
child.
Yeah, and we talk about that. Like, yeah, that's how they would act initially, but they're kids,
Mhm.
right? They learn. You teach them. They learn, and they
And
learn
they're
how to adapt
right, they're
to
meant to
life.
act crazy at the
Yeah.
beginning. Mhm.
Yeah. And maybe you just have an extra wild one,
Mhm.
and that's okay too. But let's think about how you can still live your life in the
Mhm.
process of all that. But that's more about the kids. I think when it comes to relationships, like romantic partners, usually the biggest thing that I see for the patients that I work with is some struggle with like assertiveness.
Mhm. Oh,
Um,
yeah.
some struggle with saying what you need, saying what you want, and then as a result of that, feeling like burnt out and
Mhm.
tired and resentful,
Mhm.
very resentful of your spouse, of family members, or whatever it is.
Mhm.
And there's a few different reasons why that happens too. What are you thinking?
Well, I'm thinking that maybe before we jump into those reasons, we should
Yeah.
talk about, like, what is assertive communication?
Ooh, that's a good point. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, so assertive communication. So there's a few different types of communication styles, right? And you learn them growing up, probably. I
Mhm.
usually talk about like you learned how to communicate based on whatever got your needs met as a child, right? So,
Mhm.
like if you needed to yell to get your needs met, then you're more likely to be an aggressive communicator now.
Mm.
If you actually needed to be very passive, very quiet, because being loud did not get your needs met, maybe you even grew up in an abusive household or a household that didn't care, then you're more likely to be more passive. Assertive communication is not like that. It's like the right way to communicate, right? We're
Mhm.
not saying like this is the right way, but it seems to work in the most amount of situations.
Mhm.
And the way that I kind of talk about assertive communication, it's like when we're thinking about aggressive communication, it's like this idea of like I win, you lose,
Yes.
right? So if we're going to the movie theaters and we're like, and I'm an aggressive communicator, I'd be like, this is the movie we're gonna watch. I want to watch this. I've been wanting to watch this for a long time. And then I'll never
And
ask
that's
you,
it.
yeah, and I'll never ask you what you want to watch. Being a passive communicator, it's usually like, what do you want to watch?
Mhm.
And then assertive communication
Well,
is, yeah,
I wanna interject you, and then it's passive communication is asking, "What do you want to watch?" and never voicing your opinion.
right. And never
Never
voicing it.
saying, "Hey, this is what I wanna watch," or "Last time we watched what you wanna watch,
Right.
this time can we watch what I want?" You were just like, "Oh, okay, the other person is driving the decisions."
Yes, exactly. And then with assertive communication, it's more of this mindset shift of like, what do we want?
Mhm.
So it's like, well, I want to watch this. What do you want to watch?
Mhm.
This kind of idea.
Yeah.
And so assertive communication, especially in parenthood and new parenthood more specifically, is really a game changer, I think, for a lot of people. The idea is clear.
Mhm.
But then we get into, okay, but what gets in the way of
Mhm.
that? That's the bigger point of discussion.
Mhm.
Because I think people get it,
Yeah,
but then it's like, but
and I think people agree that
yeah.
assertive communication is the communication strategy that is most likely to get you the outcome that you want,
Mhm.
and it's the most likely way to have a healthy communication
Yeah.
exchange, but doing it effectively and
Yeah.
consistently, maybe consistently is one of the bigger barriers.
Yeah.
That is the challenge.
Yeah. The one that I usually hear probably at least a few times a month with my patients is, well, I I don't think I should need to do that. I just feel like I should be able to do this on my own.
Mhm. Especially from
From
moms.
moms. Yes. And there's like these societal messages, sometimes I think too from our own parents, maybe even our own moms, about like, well, I did this all by myself. I didn't have any help. I didn't have a nanny. I didn't know, so they're just like kind of feeding us kind of this indirect pressure
Mhm.
that says you should be able to do it
Right.
on your own. Or maybe it came from a positive place, like, I raised you guys great and I didn't need any help. Then it's like, oh, I should be able to too.
Mhm.
Um, but I think the era that we grew up in and the era that we're in now are very different.
Mhm.
Very different.
Wildly.
I've even asked my mother-in-law this because she was a parent in the 90s. And she says that at the time she had two kids and she felt like that was less stressful than where she is now in life.
Hmm.
As a grandma and no kids at home, it's just her. And
Mhm.
she's just working. She's like, I'm more stressed out now than I was as a mom with two kids.
Yeah.
So that really highlights what a different era I think that we're growing up in, and we really can't compare
Yeah.
ourselves to previous generations.
And it makes me sad that people feel like they shouldn't need help.
Yeah,
Because why?
yeah,
Why wouldn't you like somewhere along the line we
mhm,
got this idea that needing help and asking for help is a bad thing
yeah,
or a sign of weakness.
yeah,
And actually, so often in therapy, prior to our like women's health work, we worked predominantly with male patients actually.
yeah,
And so I had a patient one time who said, all of my buddies who I've talk about needing therapy, they're like, "Oh, if you need therapy, if you go see a therapist, that's a weakness."
yeah.
And he was like, "No." And he just had this moment of realization where he was like, "No, they are the weak ones." And he's
Oh,
like,
that's so cute.
"Therapy is what is really freaking challenging
Yeah,
to
it is.
confront whatever it is that you're experiencing,
Mhm,
whatever it is that you're going through, and work on yourself through
mhm.
therapy." He was like, "This is the hard shit." And they're just
Yeah,
over here saying it's weakness
yeah,
because they don't wanna do it, and because that's their way of avoiding it, and I
yeah,
just thought that was so interesting and so powerful.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of barriers to getting help, to asking for help, to being assertive. Um I think the other one I usually hear, especially between couples, right? Because that our partner is usually our village, assuming you have a partner. That
Mhm.
is usually our one and only village these days. So there's a lot of resentment that happens there, and I think
Yeah.
part of the problem is not wanting to ask for help from our partners.
Mm.
Um and some of it is a little bit of mind reading, like, "Oh, I don't wanna ask him for help because, he had to work
Or
and
he's maxed out, she's maxed out, I can't ask for more than
right.
what they're giving.
Yeah. Yeah, and I say mind reading because you don't know that.
Mhm.
Have you asked?
Right.
And then usually the response that follows is, "But I feel guilty."
Mhm.
Oh, why do we feel guilty? Oh, because I should be able to do this on my own. It all comes back to that. And I think, especially with moms, they really, really underestimate how much work they're doing. I mean, the mental load is a term these days, right? A lot of women in particular are
Yeah.
carrying the mental load. And I think they largely underestimate how hard it is to be a working mom or to be a stay-at-home mom or any of those things. It's incredibly hard, and you are the one that deserves the help more than anything.
Mhm.
There's a lot of normalizing that I think I do in the beginning around, like, no one is meant to do this alone.
Yes.
If you think that you can do this alone, like, good luck. I haven't
Mhm.
met a single person that's just like, "Oh, I did that and I knocked it out of the park," like,
Right.
alone. They do it
And
because they have to,
they
not
do it
because they're
because they
doing it
have to.
well.
Right.
Yeah.
And you should not struggle for the sake of struggling.
Right.
Like, some people are struggling because maybe they don't have a partner, they don't have a village, like, they don't have the infrastructure to get that
Yeah.
support. So that's not who I'm talking about. When you have infrastructure, when you have people around you that
Mhm.
can help and support you, but
Mhm.
you're not asking and
Yeah,
struggling just because you're not asking.
right. Yeah. Do you think some of that too is not being willing to let go of control a little bit, like for moms,
Oh, yeah.
you know? Um I'm just thinking of like situations where it's been like, well, I don't want to ask him to clean the kitchen because he doesn't do it right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to ask him to like clean the bathrooms because he doesn't do it right. I don't
Mm.
want to ask him to do mealtime for the kids because he won't like feed them any vegetables. I wonder how much of it is just like letting go a little bit.
I think it's I think that's a lot of it.
Yeah. This makes me think to what you started off with, actually, which is this idea of like almost not like the identity shift
Mm.
from how you were before to where you are now,
Mm-hmm.
and how hard that is to transition into someone that like you can't keep it all together.
Right.
Oh my God, my house was so organized before I had kids. Dude, you know how some people talk about a junk drawer?
Mm-hmm.
I never had a junk drawer.
You never had
No,
a
I
job.
never had a junk drawer, dude. Every single like I was one of the, that organization, those organization shows where they come in, they organ. That was me. That was me. Part of it was avoidance. Every time I was like overwhelmed in grad school, I'd be like, well, hold on a second, but my bathroom vanity needs to be addressed right now and I need to organize it. So there's no way I can work on this dissertation under these kinds of conditions. And then I would go and I would like organize it. And now it's nowhere close
It's chaos.
to what it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of does affect my mood sometimes
Mm-hmm.
because I do want it to be like like a house when nobody lives in, basically. Like I went to go look at some model homes the other day, and I was like, yeah, this is this is what I want it to look like. Why can't it look like this?
Because you have two toddlers.
Yeah, because there's like no one that ever walks through these houses. That's why. Um, so yeah, I think a lot of it is just like this acceptance of like, okay, we had time back then
Mm-hmm.
to be this meticulous about things.
Mm-hmm.
What do we have time for now?
Yeah.
What can we let go of a little bit?
And not even what can I mean, yes, what can we let go of a little bit, but also like when I think about the anxiety of letting go, ask yourself what would happen
Oh,
if
that's a good, yeah.
bath time doesn't happen in the way that I do it?
Yeah,
What would happen if for this meal my kids don't get vegetables?
right.
Like what is the end result?
Yeah,
And is it so bad that you can't let go of control in that moment?
right.
Because it also comes at a cost.
Mm-hmm.
We often assume that, oh, if I just do everything, it'll be fine because,
Mm-hmm.
bath time will happen the way I want it to. They'll get their vegetables every night and, my kids will be better off for it.
Yeah.
But that comes at a cost to yourself, to
Oh,
your
yeah.
own sanity, to your own mental health.
Yeah. And the kids.
Yeah.
Because I was way more micromanagey with my first than my second.
Hmm.
And I don't think that the consequence of that wasn't better.
Right.
Like, for example, I had a patient a long time ago that would get stressed out or her baby started crawling.
Hmm.
And she would get stressed out about the floor being clean. She's like, oh my God, but I want the baby to learn how to crawl, but the floor is so dirty and I have to make sure I have to clean it every day. And so we talked about like, what happens if your baby crawls on a dirty floor?
Hmm.
She's like, well, she could get sick and all these things and get introduced to germs. And I'm like, okay, and what happens if she gets introduced to germs? And usually what the research shows is that their stomach is stronger.
Yeah.
Actually, they're actually healthier because they
Hmm.
get more bacteria, more germs. Their system. I saw some research the other day that said that Amish people have way less allergies because they're exposed to so many different animals and
Hmm.
dirt and all these things.
And in general, living on a farm reduces the intensity and the prevalence of allergies
Yeah.
for those exact same reasons.
Yeah, yeah. So then we talked about like, and what is so bad about introducing the baby to bacteria and germs and like having her like crawl around?
Hmm.
Um,
Let
yeah,
me tell you too, I have a 6-month-old
yeah.
and it does not matter. He's not crawling yet, but it does not matter how clean our floors are. That baby puts every
Oh
single
yeah.
thing in his mouth.
Yeah,
I
it doesn't even
mean,
matter. Yeah.
he just picking up all kinds of things. Anything that is within his grasp,
Mm-hmm.
it's going into his mouth.
Yep.
And then I have a 3-year-old toddler who licks the cement. Okay? like I cannot go on a walk with him without
Yeah.
at some point during the walk he bends down and licks the sidewalk.
Yeah.
I mean,
He does. I've seen it.
He does. And so it's like either I never take my child outside
Yeah.
or I just have to accept the fact that some sidewalks are going to get licked, and it
Yeah,
is
some
what it
sidewalks
is.
are gonna get licked.
So I think too,
Your
like,
quote for the day.
I think too, like, part of this is like the anxiety of having a newborn baby or a young baby, right?
Yeah.
And wanting to have control
Yeah.
over everything that they do and are exposed to
Mhm.
without realizing that there's going to come a point where you've got the 3-year-old and maybe you
Yeah.
have the 3-year-old that licks the sidewalks.
Yeah.
And if it's not that, it's something else,
Right.
right? And your sense of control is going to be shifted at some point because the will of a toddler is impressive,
Impressive.
right? It is not like I encourage the licking of sidewalks, right? I
Mhm.
have tried. I have tried
Yeah.
other things. I've tried alternatives. It's not happening, and I gave
Yeah.
up because it's like you said, what is the worst thing that could happen?
Yeah.
Maybe he gets a cold.
Mhm.
Maybe there's
Mhm.
some bacteria that we don't like that
Yeah.
gets introduced to his system,
Yeah.
and so be it.
Yeah. So I wonder how much of the relationship problems we see are all kind of stem back to this kind of like a hard time letting go of how things should be.
Mhm.
And by how things should be, I mean how they were before the
Mm.
baby came around
Mhm.
and transitioning into something new.
Yeah.
And going back to the topic of assertive communication, I think that's kind of the key to like overcoming a lot of these things.
Mhm.
It's how do we ask for the stuff that we need, right? And also thinking about like, well, what do you want help with?
Mhm.
Maybe, and who do you want it from?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you don't trust grandma to watch the kids because she can't keep up with the kids,
Mhm.
but she cooks, some bomb food. Okay, well then let's ask her for help with that.
Yeah.
Or your sister does not cook good and she doesn't clean good, but she does take care of kids good. So switching it around.
Mhm.
And thinking about what it is that you need help with and who can you get it from.
Mhm.
Same thing goes for like emotional support too.
Yeah.
Like, are there people that you feel like they can't help me with any of those things, but they're really good for when I'm going through like a hard time? They
Mhm.
listen, they sit with me, like all that kind of stuff. So just generally asking for more help and really sitting down and asking yourself what gets in the way
Mhm.
of me asking for more help,
Mhm.
basically. What are some of the barriers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm kind of thinking too about like this idea of asking for help and how you cannot get everything you need from one relationship.
Oh my God. Yeah. Because if you try and do that, it is exhausting
It's exhausting. It
on
is
a
not
relationship
possible
and it's not possible.
because I think about my relationship with other people. I cannot be everything, do everything
Yeah.
that my husband needs from me, right?
Yeah.
I cannot do everything that my kids need from me. I
Yeah.
need help. I cannot do all the things, and it's outrageous for me to expect that one person can do that.
Right.
And we will probably always go back to this topic and this idea of a village,
Mm-hmm.
and in modern day society, the lack thereof, because
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the importance of a village, right? Like you said,
Yeah.
one person cooks because that's what they are really good at, that's what they're skilled at. One
Yeah.
person watches the kids, one person is doing the cleaning, right? And it's this shared support and shared responsibility
Mm-hmm.
that isn't as naturally or seamlessly built into modern society.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's forcing us to ask for what we need.
Yeah. You
And
know,
being okay with it. That's
and
another
being
piece,
okay
being
with it,
okay with
yeah.
it.
Another thing I was thinking too that sometimes acts as a barrier is like moms wanting to have control over the relationship between dad and the baby.
Hmm.
Like, oh, he doesn't really know how to soothe the baby yet, or oh, the baby only wants to be put down by me. Um, I think what I found is that the more you let dad or whomever else kind of like take the reins and make their own mistakes, right?
Mhm.
Not soothe them right. Or I told my husband the other day, he left the room during bedtime to go grab some water or something. And I was like, ooh. And I saw him leaving the room and left the baby inside. He's not a baby, he's like a year old now. And I was like, "Oh gosh," because he hates it when you leave him in the room by himself. He will scream bloody murder. And I was like, "Oh boy, here we go." And sure enough, he screamed bloody murder.
Mhm.
And I didn't do anything. I just kind of like sat back and I was like, "You know what? He's gonna have to, in the way that I learned this, he's gonna have to learn this too.
Mhm.
This is their relationship, their little bedtime thing. they're gonna figure out their own little routine and their own little thing, and I'm just gonna let it happen.
Mhm.
Whatever happens,
Mhm.
basically.
Yeah.
And sure enough, what ends up happening is usually a surprise. Like, he'll come back and be like, "Did you know that he really likes this book?" Be like,
Mm.
"No, I never read him that book." "Yeah, he really likes this book. He wanted me to read it 3 times." I was like, "Oh, huh."
Mhm. I remember when we had my oldest, the toddler, and he was a baby. Um, because I'm nursing, or I was nursing, there's probably some controversy around this. Some people don't agree with this, but I always nurse my kids to sleep. I don't
Yeah,
care. They always fall asleep
that's
while I'm
so
nursing
sweet.
them.
Such a
100%.
beautiful experience,
It
though.
is. And like, fight me. I don't care. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like,
Fight
this is
me.
what I do. It's working for me. Back up.
At me at my Gmail.
At my Gmail. Sure, send an angry email. It'll be a great
Yeah.
exchange. Um, but because of that, because I had never put my baby down, my first baby down without nursing him, there came a time where I was not home at bedtime and I was
Mhm.
like, "Oh, my husband can't do this because this is the only
Yeah.
way he falls asleep and it's going to be a nightmare." And it was the opposite.
Yeah.
He is actually much better at putting both of our kids now down
Yeah.
because he's not nursing them. So he like knows how to soothe them and he
Yeah.
figures it out and he gets into the rhythm with them.
Yeah.
And the only way I know how to put them to sleep is by nursing them. So if
Right.
you need me outside of that, I'm basically
Yeah.
useless,
Yeah.
right? But my husband has figured it out his method with both of our kids.
Yeah.
And he gets to share in that very sweet moment with them where they're like falling asleep
Mhm.
and they're kind of drifting off and they're so stinking cute. And
Yeah.
like, I love that. And because I let go of that control,
Yeah.
because I let go of the only way to put them to sleep is by nursing them,
Yeah.
he was able to not only find his confidence and his rhythm, but then also share in these sweet moments that I was
Mm.
getting and he never was.
Mhm.
And I love seeing his bond with them. And part of that is because of these moments where I step back and I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm actually going to go take a bath. You can
Yeah.
put the baby down. And I get that time to myself, and
Yeah.
he gets that time with them.
Mhm.
That wouldn't have happened if I didn't communicate that and let go of control.
Yes. Yeah. Wow, I'm starting to feel like this is a bigger discussion. Maybe we'll do like a few episodes about relationships. This one was primarily about having assertive communication.
Hmm.
A big assertive communication skill that we haven't talked about yet is saying no.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah,
Hmm.
saying no. Saying no to things that you don't want to go to, or saying no to um family members.
Hmm.
Like, saying no in the like, right when the baby comes, I thought family members would, like, be welcome, but, like, really, it was a few family members that I really enjoyed having around. So saying no,
Yeah.
like, not right now,
Hmm.
maybe later when the
Yeah.
baby's older. "Well, I can't go to this. I don't know, I'm not gonna go to that,"
Hmm.
whatever it is.
With my second baby, I got a lot better at this, at saying no, since being in the postpartum period. And more specifically, I started to purposefully be a little more selfish,
Mm,
especially as I got to the end of maternity leave.
yeah,
And family, very well meaning, very well intentioned, would come over and be like, "Oh, well, I'll take the baby. Go do whatever you need to do."
yeah,
And I just started saying no.
yeah,
And politely, right? I'm not being an ass about it. I don't think. I hope not. but
yeah,
but being like, "No, I actually just want to sit here with my baby. There is
yeah,
nothing else that I need to do that is calling my attention right now." Especially because at the end of maternity leave, I was so aware of the fleeting time that I had with just me and my baby before I
yeah,
had to go back to work.
yeah,
And I was like, I want to soak up these moments.
yeah,
There will be other times where family members can hold the baby, but like right now, me and my baby are just chilling, and this
yeah,
is all that I want.
yeah,
And I got much better at that the second time around than I was with my
yeah.
first baby.
I had to say no a lot at work when I
Hmm.
went back to work.
Oh,
I
interesting.
had to, like, really preserve my mental energy because
Mm-hmm.
it was a lot there was a lot less to go around.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, "I can't do that
Mm-hmm.
project. I'm not gonna do that training that's really gonna help me in my career and whatever it is." I was just too tired.
Yeah.
And I really had to pick and choose, like, my battles, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And that was helpful, like, for me to just be like, "It's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
Other opportunities will come around."
And I think that also goes back to what we were talking about with your relationship with yourself and how that changes.
Mm,
Because you might be saying no to that training right now.
Yeah.
But that does not mean it won't come back up in a year
Yeah.
or 2 years or 5 years
Mhm.
when you have more energy, when you have the capacity to dedicate that energy to something in your career.
Yeah.
But it's a matter of coming and accepting the fact that right now is not the time and saying no to yourself in a
Right.
way. Like, now is not the time for me to do this thing.
Yeah.
And in the future, it can be.
Right.
And being okay with that.
Yeah.
And we're
Life
constantly
is
picking and
long.
choosing. Life is long, and we're
Michelle Obama always says that.
does she?
This life is long.
Love her.
Yeah. So, what's our call to action, you think?
mm, maybe it's say no to something.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah.
Say no to something or someone.
Yeah. And I think maybe my call to action is like, stop trying to do things on your own.
Oh yeah, I like that one.
Stop it. Just stop trying to like, oh, I'm the only one that can do this. And I know how to keep the house clean. I know how to take care of the baby and I got to go to work and just stop. You can't
Mm-hmm.
and you're probably facing the consequences of having that mindset right now as
Mm-hmm.
we speak.
Mm-hmm.
So ask for help
Yeah. And
and
maybe more specifically, pick one thing.
pick
Start
one
with
thing.
one thing that you need someone else in your life to take over. My spouse takes over bath time,
Hmm.
or grandma is going to take over reading to
Yeah.
them. Whatever it is, pick
Yeah.
one thing that you are
Yeah.
letting go of.
And it could be something like maybe my spouse can just do like just all the cooking stuff this week. The
Mm-hmm.
grocery shopping, the cooking, the meal prepping, whatever it is, coming up with ideas. And then if you're just like, "Oh, but he doesn't add any vegetables to things like mine does," then just tell him,
Hey, can
"Please
you add
do
some
that,
veggies?
but also please add some veggies on
Yeah.
there.
And
Make something healthy."
you're not downgrading or of what they're doing,
Yeah.
right? You're saying
Yeah.
thank you and is okay.
Yeah. Yeah. That's my call to action.
I like
Ask
it.
for help with one thing
Hmm.
from someone.
What are we going to be talking about next time?
Next time, we are going to be talking about it's another heavy topic. We've covered a little bit about your miscarriage,
Hmm.
but we haven't spent too much time talking about the NICU,
Hmm.
which is a little bit of history that we both have actually with the NICU.
Yeah, it is.
So I'm going to do an episode for NICU moms and
Hmm.
dads who have gone through it. Um, and we'll talk about some. I'm not just gonna just talk about this really traumatic story, right? I want to like actually share some things that I learned for anybody who has gone through the NICU, what some research shows, and what things can help long term too, because we don't often talk about the aftermath of the NICU
Hmm.
as well. So that'll be our episode for
Hmm.
next time.
Nice.
Where can they find this, Marsha?
You can find us at Not Your Mother's Therapist Podcast on Instagram and TikTok, and Not Your Mother's Therapist Podcast at gmail.com. And of course, on all of the podcast streaming apps.
Yep. Alrighty. See you next time.
See ya.